This exercise is going to work the quads, so the thighs, and the hip flexors. It can be quite gentle if you do the gentle version. I want you to start with your feet hip width apart. So there's a little bit of gap between your knees. Maybe stick a fist and just see. Ankles directly underneath the knees. Take those shoulders back, relax them down, and you're going to hold either side of your chair. Lengthen the back of your neck. I'm going to turn so you can see a bit better what I'm doing with this exercise. Lengthen the back of the neck, retract the chin. Try and keep in that position. You should be facing me. I'm obviously going to turn mine so you can see. And all we're going to do is take the heel out and place it back. Flex the foot up as high as you comfortably can. Breathing out, breathing in. So I'm lifting that knee up. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. With this one, it doesn't really matter whether you're in or out on the out and in movement because both of them have a little bit of effort. But think about pulling in your core, keep breathing. So I'm making this quite big and definite. If for you that is working you already and your heel's not as high, that's fine too. Go with what's right for you. But if you're a bit fitter and maybe doing these because you've maybe got an ankle injury and you want to just keep your hips and thighs moving, do it and just adjust how much you move your foot and how high you lift your knees. Make it your workout. Nothing should be uncomfortable. We never work into pain with these exercises. You always stop when you know you've had enough or when you suddenly find you're not doing it properly. Be really aware of your body, what you're doing. Even up both sides. If you started on your right, try and finish on your left. And I quite like this one. If you can stand, you're going to stand up and stretch. But if you slide forward on your chair, just slide that foot underneath. Watch you're not going to fall and you're going to feel that stretch in your hip if it's tight. Those of you that can, if that's not working for you, you can maybe come forward and stretch forward into this position if you're able to come onto the floor, or a standing version. Okay, so 3 options there for stretching out that hip. I'm going to come back to my chair and we're going to go the other leg. So it might just be sliding that hip underneath. I'm going to show you with the first leg again, but you're going to do the opposite leg under like that. Or you can come forward into a standing position and you're going to tilt the pelvis under until you feel the stretch through that thigh. Or you can do what I did before and come down onto your mat. Really depends how easily you get up and down from the floor and how much of a stretch you feel you need. Give it a little bit of a shake out. Sitting forward on your chair, feet hip width apart, we're going to do a little bit of work for our core. So I want you to really think before we start in zipping up. So think about a tight pair of trousers. You're going to zip, pull in as if you're zipping up and pulling in from the side, and try and hold that through the exercise, but keep breathing. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and you're going to seated march. Just lift that knee as high as you can, feeling the tummy's crunch. You're going to be working your hip flexors and your quads as well, but the concentration here is engaging that core, maybe the pelvic floor as well, and working your abdominals. You might want to hold the chair for support, but try and keep the shoulders relaxed, keep that head up. Breathing out. Engaging that core. Think about those core muscles, think about your abdominals, zipping up that slightly tight pair of trousers. This exercise is heel raises, which works the calf muscle. You're going to start with your feet hip width apart. So not shoulder width apart, hip width apart. Thinking about where the position of your pelvis is, that you're not sticking your bottom out or under, shoulder, chin. So hold of your body in your best posture you can. And all we're going to do is raise up slowly onto the balls of the feet and back down again. So if you need the support of a chair, that's fine. And it's both feet together. And you're only going to come up as high as you comfortably can without your ankles wobbling. Hold it towards the top and control it back down. For some people, that's the hard part, controlling it back down. Now, I'm standing on double mats here, so I'm challenging myself just that little bit more. If you've got a really thick carpet or fitness mat that you're standing on and you're struggling, maybe move on to a hard floor. If you're doing it on a hard floor and finding it really easy, then please challenge yourself, take it a little bit higher. There's another exercise that's really good at working the muscles around the knee to help support and strengthen the knee. But you need to make sure that your knees are pointing forward, your kneecaps are pointing forward. And that your knees aren't, you aren't knocking them in, that you've got that little bit of gap between your knees. And just do as many as you comfortably can. You can always come back and do a few more later or another day. But really good exercise to keep the blood flowing through the legs. Well done. Let us shake out. Feet hip width apart, sitting upright, feet flat on the floor. And we're going to ask you to do this time, you're going to bring one knee up and you're going to bring the opposite elbow towards that knee. So make it the upper body that's twisting, breathing out. Don't worry if you can't touch. So if you're only doing that, that's fine. Just bring the elbow towards, feeling that through the side of the body. You don't have to take the arms above the head either. You can just take them in front of you, but keep those legs coming straight. We're not twisting the legs across the body. We're twisting the body to take the elbow towards the knee. Now, if you can touch, great. If you can take the arms all the way up to the sky, great. Depends how fit you are, how old you are. If you're doing this because you've got an ankle injury, you might want to take the arms up. The slower you do it, actually the harder it is. So if you're finding it too easy, really slow that down. Again, you don't have to touch. You can keep it here. You can keep it here. Think of taking the shoulder and elbow towards the opposite knee. A couple more if you can. You should be really feeling that in the side of the body now. Harder. You're going to take the arms up and crunch, up and crunch, up and crunch. One more each side. You're doing great. Well done. And rest. This exercise is really good at working your quads, to the front of your thighs, and your hamstrings, to the back of your thighs. We're going to try and do about 10 on each side, but if you find after 5 or even less you've had enough, you're going to stop, change to the other side, and then go back and do the first side again. But that's your choice. Okay, so sliding that right leg out in front, you're going to lift, bend it back, straighten and bend. I'm holding the side of the chair for support. I'm trying to sit as upright as I can, keeping breathing. Breathing out, breathing in. That's 4. That's 5. If you think you can do another 5 on that side, I'm going to ask you to keep going on that side. If not, join me. We're going to go to the other side, lift. Breathing out, breathing in, sitting nice and upright, thinking about our posture. Don't forget, you can always rest when you choose. When you find you're not doing the exercise properly or it gets to be too much, you're going to stop and put your foot to the floor. Okay, those of you that have done just the one side, you're going to change to the other. If you've worked along with me and changed sides halfway through, you're going to go back to the first leg. Lift and bend and straighten. You might not find you can do all 5 this time, even if you did the first 5. If you were finding it quite hard as we got to number 5, you're going to be finding it even harder now. Last one. And release. Let's change side. It also works your hip flexors, this exercise. I can really feel it in there. Lengthening the other leg out, or obviously keep going if you were doing the other version. Well done. Thinking about your posture, sitting nice and upright. And rest, well done. Let's do a little bit of stretch. So options, either you're going to just push that leg back and feel that stretch. Make sure you're not going to fall off your chair. You can kneel down on the floor if you want to extend that a bit more, or come up to standing and come forward, tilt the pelvis under till you feel the stretch. You know where you want it to be, just adjust your body, maybe twist around so that you're feeling that where you need to. For me, I need it in here. And then change. So you're either going to slide that leg back underneath, or you're going to come back, or you can come down onto your mat and kneel forward and stretch. Trying to tilt that pelvis underneath, so curling up and under, pushing forward. Whichever version works for you, standing, seated on the chair, or down on the mat. Great work. Sitting nice and upright in your chair, slightly forward, make sure the chair's nice and stable. I'm going to extend your right leg forward, and we're going to go with circles. So you're trying to get some mobility in the hip, circling round. So this exercise is aimed at getting some mobility in the hip. Don't worry if you can't make it as big as that. If that's as far as you're going, that's fine. Just make it as big as you comfortably can. I'm using my hands on the chair to help support myself. And let's change direction. So go with what's comfortable for you. If it has to be smaller, smaller is good too. If you feel it's getting you some movement. So if that is what you're managing, that's fine. It's the hip that we're looking at moving. You're going to get some mobility in the knee at the same time. And rest. Let's take it to the other leg, taking it forward, out and round. Drawing a circle on the floor. Sitting tall, thinking about your upper body posture. Don't let your shoulders round forward. Lengthen the back of your neck. Protract the chin slightly and try and stay seated upright. You're doing great. Don't forget, it's fine. If this is as much as you can manage, try and straighten the leg out and then circle it round. As large a circle as you can comfortably do, and let's change direction. Trying to keep the other leg as still as possible when you do this. Engaging your core if you can, thinking about maybe pulling up your pelvic floor, but our focus is on getting movement in this hip. Well done. I'm going to ask you to sit comfortably on your chair with your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Hands come onto your thighs and your body stays upright, so a neutral spine, so we're not arching it backwards or forwards, and we're just going to fold from the waist. So I want you to keep that length in your spine. We're not going to roll the shoulders forward. It doesn't matter how far forward you come. Hands on the thighs, hip hinges. So you're going to come forward and back up. So you might feel this tension in your lower back. So you might be able to come all the way forward, but keep that head in line. You're not worrying about how far forward you come. You're just worried about getting some movement in those hips. Watch your chair isn't going to slide. I just felt mine slide away from me slightly. So you need to adjust your position on your chair depending on your height. Because I'm quite short, I've had to sit quite a long way forward on my chair in order to do this. If you're taller, you could sit further back in your chair and your feet might be at a slightly different angle at the front. Just feeling that motion in the hips as you breathe out, as you go down, in as you come back up. Now ideally you're going to be using your own muscles to come back up. So if you want to challenge yourself, if you're a bit fitter and you're doing this because you've got maybe ankle or hip problems, you might want to put your hand behind your head and add some weight. But please, if you're older or you've got problems with your spine, really not advisable, or if you've got osteoporosis. So if that's the case, support your body weight with your hands and just get that movement in the spine. Couple more if you can, but listen to your body. You know when you've had enough. You know how big or small a movement you should be doing here. Great. I find with this one that actually to do a little bit of almost hip circles, but you have to circle the body just to release through the spine, or maybe arch and round, just to release through that lower back. Exercise tend to cause a little bit of tension in the lower back.